Hey guys, welcome back to the Through the Motions podcast where we bring the motion to you. This week we're talking about a lot of things, what's hot in the industry and just like Borderlands. I don't know what else has been going on, but we'll just I'll skip all of that and I'll go to the normal question of how's your week been so far?
Good. Last night was a big night for us.
Indeed.
We got to see the original Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, in the movie theatre for the first time. We all got to experience what it would have been like
all them years ago.
On the Spider-Man that we grew up with. How did you guys find that experience as a whole?
I mean, look, one of my favourite childhood films of all time. First time watching it in the theatre. I don't know, it gave me some good memories. It brought me back to that time as a kid.
You were loving it.
I was loving it.
I could hear you.
I was gassed. Like, what I will say is, as a film, it still held up watching it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it was a good experience. I've seen it thousands of times, but still, like, if you get a chance, go watch it in the cinema. It's a brilliant experience.
Yeah, so obviously they're doing like all the Spider-Man films in our local cinema. And I was just thinking, I said to Ty, like, before we were watching it, while I went, I was like, why are theatres not doing this more, especially when there's films like Batman 2, for example.
Yeah.
Why would they not pump the Batman before in those theatres? The new Avengers film, why are they not pumping re-releases into the cinema? It's just a way to build hype and ultimately get more people in seats.
Yeah, because they will go ahead and watch that film at home. I know we do anyway.
Yeah.
If we're watching a big film, they hardly ever re-release it. I guess I was thinking about that question. I was thinking, is it too much of an upfront cost for the studio to kind of put them films back in there?
And the viewer.
And the viewer to pay for it. But like, if like, I don't know, the new Avengers film, what's it going to be? What's it called? Doomsday,
yeah.
Imagine if they had Endgame or some things just before that in cinemas again. I'm sure that would be rammed. Like, I'd go watch it. So you're right. That's a good idea. I feel like they should start doing that. But I reckon there's more
to it.
Yeah, there's more than meets the eye.
How did you find yesterday?
I found that after, it's been probably 8-9 years since I've seen...
Really?
Yeah, it's been quite a while since I've seen the first Spider-Man. And to see that again after all these years, I think a friend of ours said this yesterday as well. There was a lot more I picked up where there was like almost foreshadowing stuff that was going to happen later on in the film. And there was a lot more I picked up in that realm. I enjoyed it. I know when the intro card came up, I got goosebumps to the soundtrack. It's just bring back a lot of nostalgia, and I'd forgotten how the film progresses because there was still some scenes that I was waiting for. But yeah, it brought back a lot of memories.
And there's a lot of things that I forgot about the film. Like certain scenes that I was like, oh my God, I forgot about that. I forgot about it, so I don't know. What was it? There was something. Trying to think now. Like the blood dripping down, for example.
You don't remember that?
No, I remember it, but like, that's not what sticks out to me straight away. Like, that's not the most crazy moment in the film that everyone goes to. It's just that funny thing that I forgot about.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there are a lot of like, I wouldn't call them iconic, but there are a lot of memorable moments.
they are iconic.
Like, and as we're watching the film, 'cause I had like quite a good memory of that film. I was watching and I was like, there's so much still to come that can be regarded as like crazy moments and scenes that are still to come.
Yeah.
And I was just watching it, I was like, it's actually, like you said, I was actually holding up.
And number 2 tomorrow.
Which we would have seen it by the time this is out. I'm most excited for that one because
Definitely.
that's probably, I reckon that's widely regarded as the best Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
I would say it's one of my favourites, definitely.
Yeah, so are you guys going to be checking out the other Spider-Man films they're showing?
I think I've got booked until number 3. I haven't got any of the Amazing Spider-Mans booked yet, but
I want to go for
number
them.
2 Amazing Spider-Man.
I'm going to try and do all of them.
How about like No Way Home? You going to rewatch that?
ooh.
I feel like I'll struggle to rewatch that. I'll
Do
be
you think?
honest. Yeah. I feel like in cinema I'll just be, because I've seen it quite a lot at home.
It's Homecoming, no?
I'm saying No Way Home. So I feel like we're not going to watch the Homecoming, the other one.
Yeah.
So No Way Home, I feel like that's the biggest one apart from the ones we've seen.
Yeah, I'm more excited about the older films.
So
like number one
on
and
the
number
spot,
two.
what films do you want to see in the cinema for them to re-release? They're doing.
That's a
what
good
we found
question.
yesterday, they're actually doing a Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy
On
marathon
the same day.
which I think is a bit nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's cool. That's cool. I don't know about the whole back-to-back thing, but that's good. They're doing that. I'd go
Cinema's
to
gonna
that.
make a lot of money that day.
for real, they're doing Star Wars start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
Might have to catch a few of them.
Yeah.
Force Awakens maybe.
What other films? I'm trying to think. What other series of films would I like to have seen from that era, especially that I didn't get to watch in cinema?
Superhero
We'll think.
films, anything like that, or film before our time maybe.
Well, actually, speaking about re-releases, Edgar Wright's re-releasing
that would be
the
cool.
Cornetto trilogy.
That would be
Mhm.
cool.
So I think I might need to go watch
Yeah.
Shaun,
They're doing
Hot Fuzz, and World's End.
in America. They're doing Interstellar 10th year anniversary.
Wow.
on
It's the
70
IMAX 70
70
mil.
millimeter. So
Man.
I actually watched Interstellar on 70 mil. 70 mil, not IMAX 70 mil, 70 mil at
was it IMAX
the Prince
70
Charles.
mil they released?
No, yeah, they're doing IMAX 70 mil, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of it happens. The Spider-Man re-release happened months ago for America.
yeah.
And we're only getting it now.
I know.
It's good timing for us though.
But yeah.
I'd say. Can't complain.
So today we're going to talk a lot about The Boys. We haven't had really a chance to sit down and talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
We've all had different stuff going on. But now's like the first time we've actually all caught up on it.
Mm-hmm.
Off the bat, how are we feeling about season 4? Really politics focused, I'd say, this season.
Is. I'd say I like. Well, let me start with what I dislike.
Go for it.
I dislike the flow of season 4 compared to season 3. I think so far, season 3 is the best season.
Yeah, I agree.
Just as opposed to how they had their episodes progressing from 1 to 8. The 1 to 8 on this kind of felt a bit rushed. I'm not too sure. Like, that's just my take on it. I'm a bit upset that they've kind of shoved Butcher to the side. And he's kind of, obviously, in spoilers if you haven't seen it already, he's
Must
dying.
have by now, yeah.
Yeah, he's dying, and obviously it's a side effect of him taking V. But I'd like to kind of see that a bit more as opposed to just him
He's
being
very,
kind of shoved to the side.
He doesn't interact a lot with the boys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
In
he's
the
on his
season.
own side
Yeah.
side mission.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's kind of my take on The Boys right now. I've enjoyed season 3 a lot more, and I think for me, obviously Anthony Starr carries as well. But over that, I think Butcher's one of the main characters, and kind of see him shoved to the side and then seeing a bit more like the supporting cast taking over to the main cast threw me a bit off, but that's my take.
And Aaron, do you like the political vibe going on here, hardcore? So why is this not one of your most favourite seasons?
Do you know what? I do like elements of the satire. Sometimes I feel it's a bit forced.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of political satire in this. Like, when we're talking about them playing on woke culture and sort of taking a piss out of how big the companies in real life do it, with all the virtue signaling and all the PR movement and how everything's just a big PR stunt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that, and I think that's sort of. I think there is a space for that in. There's nothing really doing it like that at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that I like is it's more of like everyone has like more of a realistic approach, but like as in like the superheroes aren't superheroes. Full stop.
Yeah.
They're PR machines.
Mm-hmm.
They do no saving.
Mm-hmm.
Not like Marvel or DC where they're actually superheroes. These lot are just machines. They're products.
Mm-hmm.
No fighting crime, saving lives. It's all PR. It's all brands. They even play on the. Did you guys see the scene where they're doing like it's like a panel and they're releasing all the shows.
Yeah.
And they're releasing all the movies and they're taking the
back-to-back,
piss out of Marvel and stuff
Yeah.
like that with all the upcoming films. Taking the piss out of reshoots.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, we reshot it this many times, so it has to be good.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that, and I think that is funny. But
Yeah.
sometimes I think I don't want that to be the only thing driving the show.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of a lot of the season focused on the relationship with Homelander, his son, Ryan, and kind of Butcher was kind of getting involved towards the end with all of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of their relationship?
I'm not buying Ryan. I don't know if that's just me.
Yeah.
I'm not really gravitating towards that character.
I agree. I feel like I don't know what it is. I mean he's a good actor, but I feel like he's been overshunned by Homelander. Such a good performance in Homelander. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it.
I think it's clear they're grooming him to fight Homelander
of
in the
course.
next season.
Yeah. And speaking about the season finale as well, I think it was building up nicely. I feel like it was too slow to get to where it got to in the final episode. I wish the outcome of this season was finding out what happens next. It kind of like we were led up this road. The outcome of the
season was you better watch season 5.
Exactly, and I feel like that this season was just the backstory building teaser, which is fine. But I've just watched the whole season. I don't really feel like I got a lot.
Got to wait 2 years.
So it was a bit, for me, I was a bit like upset kind of when that closing card was coming up.
Yeah, another thing I like about them as the show as a general is the marketing they do.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys keep up to date, but like, Vought, they tweet on Twitter like real life. Like, it's actually quite funny. It's not even like it's like a parody of real life, which is quite cool. Have you seen Homelander do it, Ask Me Anything?
Yeah, and they do YouTube as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just cool stuff that is sort of pushing boundaries in terms of
the full fall
without breaking the fourth. It's like playing on it. I saw a tweet. Actually, I've got noted down here. Do you think Anthony Starr's Homelander is the best supervillain since Heath Ledger's Joker, or is he better?
It depends if you're talking live action or not, because there's a lot more to take into consideration if it's live action.
Go on, elaborate.
Like Omni-Man, for example.
You think he's better than Homelander?
I think they're so close together. I think Omni-Man has the edge.
I like the more psycho.
I see what you mean.
Aspect, like Homelander's a nutcase.
Yeah,
he's going for a midlife crisis. He's cynical. He's sadistic.
I like the fact that he's
remorseful. Like no remorse.
He's actually aware that he's got issues. Yeah. He's self-aware that he's got issues. It's just he's got a mixture of mental health issues. Like there's like bipolar in there. There's all these, there's all these heavy mental health issues from his past and how he's been treated by these doctors and treated as a product.
It's like he takes pleasure in knowing that he's
powerful,
like a god. Yeah.
But that's all he's got.
Yeah.
And that's why he's trying to instill that into his son. But obviously his son has been raised by the mother, which is more down to earth.
But he sort of leans into it a bit, his son, isn't it? When he's like slapping that guy on the floor. Do you remember that scene? Where he's telling the girl to slap that guy. And he leans into it a bit and then he sort of comes back out of it.
Do you know why I think it's like Ryan as a character? I think he's just trying to find the right balance between Butcher and his mum and Homelander. Yeah. Because Butcher keeps reminding him of his mother. Even though it seems like he forgets his mother sometimes. Well, obviously we know he wouldn't, but in the way he's been portrayed, it kind of comes across that he doesn't, like he's almost forgetting his mother's teachings and stuff like that. Obviously being heavily influenced by Homelander, but even like stuff like him getting a letter from Butcher saying, and it's titled "Don't Be a Cunt," stuff like that. It's bringing him back into his origin and I guess his roots and his core beliefs.
And don't you think, was it Mother's Milk, the character? MM, yeah. He's taken a lot more of a forefront in this season.
I like that.
Yeah, it's cool.
I think he had one of the best he was one of the standouts in the season.
Yeah, but he got that opportunity to do that. I think the writing he's been put as the leader of the boys, really.
I didn't really like a lot of the stuff they did with the boys, like as a group.
Yeah.
If we're looking at, I like what they did with the Deep. I like what they did with A-Train and his redemption arc. Yeah. I think I'm here for that. And I feel like that he's just going to get killed off now because he's gone through this whole redemption.
Yeah.
But Huey, I feel like they just thought, what mad things can we put this guy through the whole season? And some of it was like...
It's quite crazy.
Frenchie was like, that whole thing of him handing himself in, I didn't really...
Yeah, he started off being this stern criminal, like not let nothing slide, and then again, like he just turned himself in. It's like
that's a character arc, though. It's like over time he's realized what he's going through and what he's been. Like,
I guess
doing.
Maybe
it caught
Kamiko kind of brought something out.
I think she was one of the better characters.
Yeah.
Kimiko's a very good character.
What's Starlight? Again, she had some like crisis of her powers throughout the whole season. I wasn't really too fond of her, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
But that's not the first time as well with Starlight losing her powers and thing.
But I did like the aspect that she's kind of still in the public eye, but she's taking a different role.
I like that, the whole Homelander versus Starlight, like propaganda.
Yeah.
It's sort of emulating like real life.
And they got together, Homelander and Starlight, fake got together for that show.
It's crazy how like they try so hard to emulate the real like social society, as in all the PR stunts and the politics and the propaganda.
They've just dialed it up. It's like they've got a dial and they've just dialed up reality by 50%.
I do like the
You're right.
the in-world stuff, like the video games, the movies.
I love when an episode starts and you're in like you're in the film,
Like
in one of the
like
films.
a news show or something.
Yeah.
No, but when you're actually
When
watching
they're
the
filming
film,
something.
when you're watching it,
I think that stuff's brilliant.
and it cuts out. Or what about the Will Ferrell one?
Yeah,
Where Will Ferrell, it's
A-Train,
hilarious.
Even the one where like he's playing that Street Fighter game and
Yeah.
he's using the character. I think that's so creative.
What about, was it, A-Train was dancing and stuff. There was an advert, A-Train was going
he's
to
doing
come back.
some woke advert with the drink.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
It's
just
hilarious.
Like, it's so on the nose and it's really creative.
Do you know who's been kind of... She's been a constant throughout the series. I think she's slipped under the radar a bit, but Ashley character.
She had some crazy ending though, didn't she?
What did she? Was
When
it
she
what?
took the V.
Yeah, but we didn't see
Yeah,
nothing.
we didn't see
there.
what happened.
She was transforming though
Yeah.
into something.
Yeah.
I feel like her character has been a constant from the beginning. She's always been that push around character, and then she slowly kind of built herself up, and then she's got to the point where it's like, same with the boys. They've realized, look, they need to start taking V for them to have an impact on what's going on with these soups. She's in that boat now, so they left that on a cliffhanger as well.
So go back to my question.
Yeah.
Is Homelander the best supervillain since Heath Ledger's Joker?
I would say, for me, it's my most entertaining since.
Who's in the mix? You got Thanos.
Thanos isn't in there.
Nah, he is, man.
Not for me.
He is, man.
Not for me, man.
Thanos is serious.
That's a man in a mocap suit for me. But who's a villain? I'm trying to think superhero villains. Well, let's just type some in. Villains in general.
Got a couple Magnetos. Got a couple Marvel villains.
Would you class Magneto as a villain? I was thinking that.
He sways to and from.
Yeah, like he's on the fence. Who we got here? Who have we got?
Red Mist. He's a solid.
Bane. Bane was good as well.
But not on that level.
Yeah. Voldemort.
He is.
Voldemort's up there.
But would you?
No, I'm saying top 10.
He's not a super villain, is he?
He's not
Yeah, I
super
guess so.
villain, Yeah. But I think okay. I'd like to. I agree with what Ty said. With he's been the most entertaining since Heath Ledger. I wouldn't say he's the best. I think for me, like I said, Omni-Man just goes a bit above. But that's just my opinion.
I mean, when I watch him on screen though,
It is breathtaking. isn't it?
he's crazy good. He's you really don't know what he's gonna do.
He's
know
just
what it
that
is?
smile, man.
I'd like to see Anthony starting something else.
What's no superhero stuff?
No superhero
What
stuff.
like a more dramatical thing?
I don't know. I'd like to see him go for his like a critical one, like a. I don't know. Maybe strive for an artistic Oscars
I see him with
because he has the potential, you know.
I hope he don't get typecast going forward.
whoa.
Well, not typecast in this. This isn't what we know him for. In
Well,
10
I
years'
think
time.
Man of Steel.
he originates from theatre though, I believe.
Yeah.
He's been in a couple TV shows.
So
they so obviously the next season's coming out in the next year after next.
It's 2 years from now.
2 years from now, they're gonna wrap that up. They announced the prequel. Did you guys see the prequel series starring
I heard something.
Soldier
like
Boy?
that.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
about him.
Well, how do you think about Soldier Boy as a character?
Well, he got teased at the end, didn't he? So
Yeah.
he's coming back.
I heard that the Stormfront might be on the way back as well. I don't know if it was for the prequel for the next season, but
She's gonna be in it. The prequel,
prequel,
series, yeah. I forgot that. Her and Jensen Ackles. I do like. Do you know what I think of when I think of Soldier Boy? I think of Watchmen.
Watchmen.
Yeah.
Have you seen that film Watchmen?
No.
You've seen it, innit?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, because it's like they were like the 50s and the 60s and 70s, like
the
first,
older generation.
Yeah, I sort of see that sort of vibe with it, and how if you remember in season 3 we saw like the original team, like Soldier Boy's team. And I sort of got that vibe from it. I hope it's more of a serious thing as opposed to more of a jokey thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, they did. We're looking back at the boys as a series now. I feel like they did Gen V very early on, during that thing. Like, I feel like there's been a lot more since that. How successful was Gen V?
I don't think it blew anything out of the water.
No.
It was good. It was all right
for the time.
It was.
But I think now the ones they're kind of greenlit now, they're gonna do a lot better. I think. I think the boys have a bigger market.
One taking place in Mexico that's coming out.
Yeah.
I think that they've just got an opportunity to really expand this universe now, don't they?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll be surprised to see all the
as well.
sequels, spin-offs, everything that's going to come from it.
We're going to get like a Frenchie spin-off in 3 years' time.
Probably a series, limited series.
Yeah.
Can happen.
Excited for it though. But when it comes to the marketing of this, like I was in Turkey, I was in Istanbul for holiday, and you're seeing like humongous buildings covered with the boys' posters.
Really?
It's insane.
I'm surprised there.
That blew my mind.
Yeah.
Like when I saw that, I was like, "Wow, this is crazy." Like, bro, imagine a whole skyscraper, and top to bottom is covered with a boys' poster in Prime.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I
don't know how many people are watching it out there, but
is it the best thing on TV at the moment? Best TV show?
I think so, definitely.
I think I can probably vouch for that. But
do you prefer it to Invincible?
I prefer Invincible. I just like my animations.
I need to rewatch season 2, man.
I haven't seen that.
Invincible's good. I need to rewatch it.
But is it on that same vibe?
Yeah.
Yes, but slightly less
graphic.
Not graphic. Sexual jokes.
Okay. Yeah.
Nudity. No nudity or sexual jokes or anything like that. But it's extremely graphic.
It's extremely graphic. Yeah.
I'm there for it.
I like the opening of season 1. Where there's just 2 guys chilling and then all of a sudden, boom, White House down.
I like the season 1 scene where he kills the whole team at the end.
That's crazy.
And that fight at the end of season 1 with Omni-Man and Invincible, where he runs him through the train. Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to rewatch season 2.
It's very graphic.
But yeah, that was our boys' review / reaction.
Yeah.
Let us know what you thought, of course. We're ready and we're waiting for the next season. A couple new projects getting announced this week. First one, new Ben Affleck project, starring in the movie Killing Gorka. So Ben Affleck will be starring as Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
Interesting.
Following the lawsuit that Hogan filed against someone named Gorka for publishing a sex tape of him. Matt Damon will be involved, as well as Gus Van Sant, director of Good Will Hunting. So they're getting the sort of dream team back together. My first thing was, why are they making it about this and not just a normal biopic about Hulk Hogan? Because someone who's just a crazy life.
Yeah.
I feel like he's someone who's worthy of a biopic. But
Definitely worthy of a biopic. I don't know. First things first, I'm not surprised to hear Matt Damon's on this project after hearing Ben Affleck's. Obviously, they're best friends, aren't they? So, but yeah, like you said, it's a bit weird that they're focusing on one event in Hogan's life as opposed to his career and his whole...
Hasn't that been done before though?
I don't...
Like the biopic, the whole life story, A to Z of someone's life.
I suppose, but I didn't even know this was a thing. I don't know if this is a well-known thing.
Maybe they're just trying to bring it to light. Like there was a lot of stuff that happened.
Yeah, I reckon if we maybe do a bit of research into what the situation is, we might find out it's something crazy. Because sometimes these big famous stars that are from before your time, you're not around hearing the latest gossip or what's going on.
No, you're right.
Like, for example, I don't know, the Michael Jackson putting the kid's head out the window at that time.
I only ever heard about it.
Yeah, we heard about it, but imagine people growing up now. They're not going to be in sync with that.
Yeah. There's that, like, even watching something like Iron Claw, I didn't know a lot about that story. First and foremost, I didn't even know the characters, but you can watch a biopic and find out a lot more about someone which you thought you knew a lot, but...
I do like the start to finish bite of the life, though.
100%. But do you care that much about Hulk Hogan's life?
Like, I don't really care about the Von Erichs.
Yeah.
But I was made to care. Same with the...
Zac Efron and...
The Rock one coming up, the A24 about Mark Kerr. I know Mark Kerr. I've seen a few of his fights through like watching stuff on YouTube, being a UFC fan, but I wasn't like dying for a biopic.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna watch it. I'm excited for it.
We'll
Same
see.
with that Straight Outta Compton and Elvis, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm not massive fans of these people.
But you know what? That film, Straight Outta Compton, is very solid. I think that's one of the best biopics of all time.
Yeah, definitely up there.
Like,
It is definitely
hands
up there
down.
for
I
sure.
watched it recently again. Amazing film.
Sort of underrated, I think.
Definitely.
Very underrated, I think.
There's a lot of like when it comes to Straight Outta Compton, the structure of it is what draws you into it, because you know what the group, or even if you don't know the group, you kind of knew the sort of gravitas they come with and like the sort of impact they had on hip hop, and then you see the intro, and then they cut straight into a show right after recording a session or something, and then that's when you're riled up and you're ready to go.
It's just really well put together.
Yeah, that's what
from
I was
start to
thinking.
finish. The pacing is so good. Like you even start to feel the emotional stakes when Eazy-E gets ill. You're sort of like when you're seeing stuff like, I don't know about you, but like when you're seeing like Snoop Dogg and Tupac, people that you know, as opposed to that the Straight Outta Compton, you're starting to get a bit gassed. You're seeing them making songs that you know. It's just really well put together. It probably is the best biopic in my opinion.
Defo.
But yeah, another series, John Wick sequel series,
No, good.
The High Table, in the works.
They should have just left that for.
Set right after the events of John Wick 4. Keanu Reeves won't be in it, but he'll be a hands-on producer, whatever that means. And it will include characters from the films.
Okay.
Is this just the natural progression that we're going to see with film franchises now? It feels like this is just something that just happens now. Dune's doing the exact same thing.
I think it's another addition to another market. It's just that reach that these companies can do now. I mean, you couldn't do that before. In I don't know, 2005, when would you have the opportunity, or what platform, where could you put a series or something like this?
About a franchise.
About a big franchise. It wasn't happening.
It's just, I feel like it gets to a point where there's too much of it.
Yeah, it gets
It's like not
saturated.
every franchise needs to start building a world.
Yeah.
Because then it just gets, I feel like we're just getting a bit too much and it becomes more insignificant. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure that Dune prequel series is going to be really good.
Yeah.
But I'm so personally bored of prequel series and spin-offs.
Yeah.
Where I feel like I can't keep up with them all.
Yeah.
And I probably, being honest, probably won't check it out.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is the same thing.
I think it's for a different set of audience. There are some people that just want to get as much information from a world as possible. There's that level of fan, and then there's a normal casual fan that just wants the main events. Like for me personally, I didn't really keep up with the Star Wars prequels, sequels in terms of the series stuff. I watched a bit of Mandalorian, and that's about my knowledge of the series stuff. But I thought the films were really good. I'm there for the main event stuff, but for the all extra add-ons, for all the extra details, I'm not really too fussed. That's where I stand with it.
I guess it just boils down to how hardcore of a fan are you of these franchises.
But Harry Potter one, saying that,
But that's a reboot. That's different.
Yeah.
I guess so. But you would go.
That's because that's a reboot.
But if
It's
it was
not-
a carry
it's
on,
not-
you would
it's
still
not-
feel the same.
It's not them trying to spin off. And it to me, I feel like they're doing it for the sake of it. Because like, have you seen John Wick 4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you feel like, I need some more from this?
No,
now?
I thought this was enough.
No, and to be honest, it was a good film. But
I don't even think they needed 4 films.
It got
but
to the point.
If the price is right, they're gonna do it.
The guy was just firing and firing and firing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
The guy's like, I don't know.
Keanu
It got a bit
Reeves,
too much for
he's
me.
on smart.
I'll be honest.
It just feels like every franchise now, it's inevitable that a series or spin-off film
It's coming after, yeah.
Fast and Furious, they've got the whole Hobbs and Shaw thing. I don't know if they'll make another one. I'm sure we'll get a prequel series about Dominic Toretto in the next 10 years. I can bet a lot of money on that.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to do that with X. They were going down that route.
I'm telling you, every big franchise, we're going to get Jurassic World spin-offs. Every Bumblebee with the Transformers, there's so much comes to mind.
That flopped.
It's
It
just,
depends though. I feel like there's gonna be a point where I hope, for the sake of these production companies and everything, that they're doing well and they're reaping the benefits of it. But it all boils down to how much of the audience can you keep engaged. Maybe right now where you're sitting, you're like, yeah, this is a bit long, but a few months' time, or say a year's time or 2 years' time, it comes out and you haven't heard of John Wick, and then all of a sudden it pops up on your recommended, you're like, let me just see this. I think it's a timing thing as well.
Look, if it's good and it's the consensus that it's really good, I'll happily eat my words and watch it and admit I was wrong. But from now, where it just feels like every week I'm seeing new series, sequel series, spin-off movie is in the works. You sort of become numb to it.
That goes back to our initial point that we've been making on this podcast for the last 6 months, is that once IP is made, they struggle to let go of what they've made.
But that's because
the money.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And I don't... well, it's annoying. But at the end of the day, they're a business. I can't hate on that. No. They're making money. They're doing well. Sometimes they're doing well. Sometimes they're not.
They're seeing what works.
But they need to start making, and we say it all the time, more original content.
But saying that, this is where I give like Marvel and DC a pass, and maybe to the boys to the extent, because they've got such broad source material that they're not rinsing it by giving us a new superhero. I feel like that's different. Instead of exhausting John Wick, where the world's been built, there's no stuff that's on the source material that we haven't explored yet. They're clearly milking it for what it is. With the superhero stuff, you can sort of see why they're doing it, because there's new characters and there's so much stuff that's yet to be explored. So I'll give it a pass in that sense. When we get a new series and films about superheroes that we've never heard of. But I draw the line at stuff like this. The John Wick one, the Dune one.
Yeah, I'm not sitting there waiting for that.
No, me neither. But like I said, I feel like there might come a time where you're just sitting down and you're like, let me just see what's available.
I don't know how people have the time to keep up with all these things.
Me neither. It doesn't make sense, but like I don't know. I think it's just the way you feel towards it could change.
Can you imagine how stressful it must be being a film fanatic who's also a superhero nerd? Having to keep up with all the comics, the games, the animated shows.
Like, I don't keep up with the Marvel TV shows. I'll be honest with you. I don't keep up with Marvel TV shows. I don't keep up. The only TV shows I watch right now is The Boys, and I'm back on Breaking Bad. Like, that's it. I can't. I don't know. There's too long to go into all of them. I can't keep up.
No, you're right. I think
honest.
There's
that's the truth. Like,
there's a
unless
lot to keep up with.
Something's that for the podcast or something where it's like it's good for me to watch this, then I'll watch it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, nothing's really jumping out to me. Where it's like, this is a new thing.
Because the thing with film is you sit there for your 2 hours
and you're done.
And that's all you need to do.
This one, you wrecked a couple of days on a shite series. Do you know what I mean? You ain't getting that time back.
No,
I can swallow 2 hours, but 8 to 12 hours, come on, man.
That's fair. I think that's fair.
Another announced project, J.J. Abrams' new movie, in Jenna Ortega and Glenn Powell in talks to star in it.
Okay.
So J.J. Abrams has sort of gone into hiding since his last film, Rise of the Skywalker, where he did not receive the best reception, to say the least. I think he got dealt a shorthand there because he's done number 7, delivered. They got another director, number 8, Rian Johnson. Didn't go well, and then he had to pick up the pieces in number 9. But we don't know nothing about this this movie yet. Maybe it's about another Stephen King novel, they're saying. But 2 rising stars, been on a bit of a run. Jenna Ortega's obviously killing it, as well as Glenn Powell.
Beetlejuice coming out soon as well.
Beetlejuice has got a new Wednesday series coming out, I believe.
Yep.
Glenn Powell we spoke about before. Last project, bit different. New secret animated Marvel project in the works. They apparently spent over $19 million already on it. I don't know if that's a lot for these animated series, but
how many episodes?
Doesn't say. It's a secret project.
Okay.
Secret project.
So clearly, their X-Men 97 was a huge success, whether you've seen it or not.
Yeah.
Maybe these series are coming. They got a Spider-Man series coming out soon. I think this year or next year.
I'm serious out.
No, but these, I've been trying. I told you earlier.
Yeah,
I've been watching. I don't know if you've seen the Batman Cape Crusader on Amazon Prime.
I saw it come out, but I haven't watched
animated series. I thought, you know what? I liked 97, X-Men 97 so much. I'm gonna give it a benefit. I'm gonna watch it. It's cool. It's not like something where I have to lock in.
Yeah.
Something I can just watch 25-minute episodes.
Okay. That's not terrible.
That's not. And I'm
digestible.
Digestible. I can watch 2 if I want. I'm trying to get into this animated series because I can't lie. Watching the Doomsday thing gassed me. If I'm being real, Robert Downey Jr.
The comic Marvel.
I'm in a bit of a Marvel wave at the moment.
You know, Marvel clever. You know what I've been seeing them pushing. You know what I've been seeing them pushing. I've been seeing them pushing this unlimited comic book online Disney Plus subscription style product.
I don't think I'd ever go to the comic books.
I think I would like to, for example, read a comic book with Doom in there just to understand the character a bit more. Because I always envy the people that have got that foresight where it's like, thing made me get in the comics. It started in Fantastic Four and then the crossover and then issue 97. Like, I'm just thinking, bro, like, how you know all of this? But like, I wish I knew some backstory. So when I'm watching it's even better.
Last few weeks I watched.
But I ain't got that backstory.
Last few weeks I watched.
There's nothing stopping you from reading them.
Because Deadpool started it, so I was getting hyped for that.
Yeah.
I watched both the Fantastic Four movies.
Okay.
Which I hold up a lot in my opinion. Then I watched Infinity War. I watched Endgame today.
You watched Endgame today?
Yeah, before I came.
That's crazy.
I just put it on my dinner, and 3 hours later.
Dinner? All-inclusive buffet or something? Tapas.
I had a little dinner before the opening credits have finished.
You finish your dinner.
But yeah, so I'm trying to get into that. I'm gonna try and check out some of the old animated shows because apparently they're really good, and they're not as childish as I first thought that they were. So yeah,
interesting.
But I got a question for you, like, spanning off the whole Marvel thing.
Yeah.
Will we ever go back to a time or a place where we get individual superhero movies like the ones in the 2000s that aren't a part of a wider universe?
I don't think it's possible.
I hope so.
I don't think it's possible.
I think
they're going to have to be connected now.
No, I don't think it should necessarily be connected.
Because you've got like the Batman.
Yeah.
That's a standalone Batman film.
Yeah.
Whilst all the DCU's going on.
Yeah. I mean, look, it can work both ways. I just think start investing in more of them character build-ups. So then when you do have... Because the Avengers took 10 years to build that up. I feel like they're trying to build it up quicker than... It takes time. It takes multiple movies. It takes years to do something like this. And like we said last episode with Warner Bros, where they rushed that process in getting all these films out to try and meet Justice League when they weren't ready for it. The audience wasn't ready for it. The character development wasn't ready for it. It just didn't work out. So I hope they do.
But I feel like even though they were all part of a universe, like the phase 1 of the MCU, because this whole concept had never been explored before, it still did feel they weren't as connected as they were until ultimately...
Yeah, they made it connect.
Avengers Age of Ultron times when they all started interlinking a bit more. But I feel like it's just a bit long how everything has to have connected to something.
You can't ever just get all the information at face value in a
we've
film.
got a new Fantastic Four movie coming out. And the news that's coming out is like, so this is how they're going to be a part of the MCU. So last thing before we get onto another rendition of Through the Emotions, Borderlands coming out this week. Something that I found really interesting is that it has debuted on Rotten Tomatoes with a percentage of 0%.
Why do you find that interesting?
Because this film has, I've seen a few reviews, disaster, uninspiring, mess. This is not looking good.
It's not looking
Who's
good
the production company behind this?
I don't know, but obviously it's based on the game. It's got a pretty much of an all-star cast. I forgot. Kevin Hart, Cate Blanchett, and there's someone else that I forgot.
Jamie Lee Curtis,
that's it. It's got a massive IP behind it.
Yeah.
I know that they had to do reshoots and they had a bit of issues in production, but why? How can they get something so wrong, especially when the video game genre has been on such a run lately with Fallout and The Last of Us? 0%.
Okay.
It's gone up to 8 now, I think. But again, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's very low. I don't know. I think to touch on something like this, it's a tough call Borderlands has such a niche audience as well. So, first and foremost, I say niche audience. Borderlands as a game is pretty big, but I say it's niche in terms of on a wider scale when you're comparing it to games like Grand Theft Auto. I'm gonna say like Call of Duty, anything else. It falls under more of a niche bracket.
Is it as big as Fallout?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think
It's
Fallout has
similar.
the edge.
I feel like it's on a similar level, though, no?
They're pretty close, but I'd say
But I knew
Fallout
about
has the
both
edge.
of them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And Bioshock was another one.
The Bioshock is a big game.
That's it.
I don't know. They must have done something so wrong in the story, or they must have somehow compromised the law or something.
But if we're being completely honest, from that trailer, you could tell this film stinks.
Yeah, it's true.
Of course.
I don't
We
know.
knew straight away. We knew. We said in this. I think in the cinema we were like, "That looks awful."
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure we did.
And I think everyone else thought the same because clearly no one's watching it either.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I just feel like
Would you go to the cinema to
it's
watch
100
this?
to 120 mil.
I was saying to Ty yesterday when we were watching. I was like, if I wasn't as busy as I am at the moment,
You'd probably
I'd
go
probably
see
check
just
it
for the
out
sake
just
of
because
it,
I've
yeah.
got a limitless. I wouldn't
Yeah,
pay
of course.
to watch it.
Yeah.
But this film is a $120 million budget, and I've seen that it's tracking to open at 9 million this weekend.
Hey, 9 million.
9 million.
That's so sad.
I will be honest. I don't think the marketing was done properly, and whatever they put in that trailer, it just seemed like they were in the car laughing and joking. I ain't seen much more than that. In my head, that's all I can.
When you're screaming Borderlands, you need to give us a bit more of the world.
Yeah, I just remember them being in a car, someone getting sick. That's all I remember, literally, from the whole marketing of this film. I just remember Kevin Hart busting some corny joke. That's it. Like, I just don't feel like there was no life in it. And look, we spoke about this as well. Do the stars of today have star power like Hollywood used to have? Where you can slap Kevin Hart, you can slap Jamie Lee Curtis, you can slap Bobby Lee, whoever, Jack Black, onto these productions and they to fly anymore. I think the age
more than they're getting, you'd expect.
Maybe.
For an opening weekend to just have 9 million or 120 million.
Domestic, but
that means no one cares. That's really what that means. Kevin Hart,
he says something.
You would think he's bringing more.
They've shoved it to August as well. Not necessarily a peak time for cinema.
And then this is going to be on streaming before you know it. We're going to blink. It's going to be on tomorrow.
Probably. I'd give it. I think they probably have a 2-week theatrical window on this.
Look, I don't want to bash the film too much. We haven't seen it yet. Just to clarify, we haven't seen it.
It could be decent.
It could be decent, but it doesn't seem like that from the reviews that are going on right now.
This led me on to my Through the Emotions this week.
Okay.
Off the top of your head, what is the worst movie you've ever watched?
The Room.
Titanic 2.
The Room.
Titanic 2.
Yeah.
I think that was a Titanic
Exactly.
2.
Nah, I can't remember.
Green Hornet.
That's a bad film, but
Yeah.
Madam Web.
that's really up there. That's actually up there.
Do you know what I was thinking of as well?
Go on.
Fantastic Beasts 2 and 3.
Fantastic Beasts 2 and 3.
1, 2, and 3. Well, 1's a bit better. Yeah.
One's tolerable.
Yeah.
The 2 and the Dumbledore one.
That last one, Seekers of Dumbledore, is disgraceful. I'm sorry. They missed. Was it David Yates who directed that? Like, talking about directors and how they can make hits and flops. If you did the average film for most people, they've got amazing films and they've got terrible films.
That's what separates your Tarantinos and your
No,
Nolans.
exactly. That's what I was gonna go on to. Them guys don't have that. Their
Any more
scale
films?
drops. Don't get me wrong. Their scale drops, but it doesn't drop to like
Yeah.
part 2 Harry Potter down to number 3 of Fantastic Beasts.
Any other films come to mind?
Bad films. But there's so many.
Fire them off.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think. A lot of like Netflix productions that kind of come out.
Oh,
Netflix
yeah,
films,
like those stink.
they're all throwaways.
The bootleg
majority.
Jumanji with Kevin Hart and
That's
The Rock.
not one of the worst films
That-
I've ever watched.
That's
Come on.
terrible.
Come on.
That's terrible.
You just throwing that out.
Yeah,
there.
he's just throwing
No,
that out. I
I'm
believe
dead
that.
serious.
I don't know.
That's
There's-
tough. I'll be honest. That's tough. I want to see what the consensus is here on Rotten Tomatoes or
Yeah, let's
Tomatoes
type
or
in
whatever.
worst movies of all time.
So I've got some up here now, but these I don't really know about these.
1,000 Words.
I wouldn't say that was one of the worst films of all time.
It's not one of the best films, but
Well,
I wouldn't put it down as one of the worst films of all time.
Do you know what one came to mind for you, Aaron, that you didn't like? I remember you saying that Jake Gyllenhaal one where he's in the sales call center.
I don't think that's one of the worst things. I just didn't like that film.
Okay,
but I think a lot of people would like that film. You guys like?
I thought it was alright.
Yeah,
I thought it was alright. Disaster movie was a crap
that.
movie.
Epic movies here.
That's a good movie though, really. Yeah. Jack and Jill is on here.
Yeah.
I know that's your favourite, I don't know.
Nah.
Mine's more like a lot of the films I haven't heard of here, and I think there's a reason why.
Yeah.
I got one more question for you guys. Through the emotions this week. What is the hardest genre of film? Let me reword this. What genre of film's cinematography is the hardest to achieve successfully? My thought was horror.
Successfully. Horror.
Maybe comedy.
Comedy, yeah. Comedy is a tough
horror
one.
and comedy.
Yeah.
Like,
I think horror may be easier.
But do you know what maybe I'm wrong, but I always see that if a director's got a project, they've obviously got some form of attachment to it.
mm-hmm.
How do they ensure that the cinematography conveys horror if they're trying to get scary without them being biased?
What do you mean without them being biased?
Without them thinking, oh, this is scary because it's my project, they've got a bias towards it.
Yeah.
How can they ensure that comes across?
What, to be actually scary?
To be actually scary and have the desired effect.
Well, I think we touched on this before, where it's not always necessarily about the visuals, so to speak, or the camera movement. It is a part of that, but a lot of it comes from the sound. Yeah. A lot of it comes from the editing. It's this melting pot of all these different... it's like a UFC fighter, for example, where he's got all these different martial arts training.
I'm talking about cinematography, though.
I think when it comes to cinematography and you're talking horror, I can't remember the name of this film, but there was a film where everything will be right in front of you.
Blair Witch Project?
But it would be hidden in the shadows, and you could just about make out like outlines of. It's really annoying, but I can't remember the name of the film. But you could just about make the outline of this figure or this person or whatever it was, the monster, and that's scary. It's not giving the audience something to be scared about. It's more so giving them the whole world, and they can come up with everything themselves. I think when it comes down to cinematography, it's a lot of the creative sides of cinematography is what you can and what you can't see mainly. It's strategically placing the camera or lighting a specific scene in such a way that it would trigger the hairs on your body to raise and anything like that.
So what do you think? Do you think it's harder to get a laugh in the cinema, or do you think it's harder to get scared?
I think it's harder to get a laugh because to shoot a horror, if I'm being honest, and this is I'm not trying to put any shade or any sort of like bad rep towards this. You can have a camcorder in your hand with a night vision thing, and even just filming at night, anything, as long as it's a bit like quiet and eerie.
To build off that, do you think that's the reason why you see a lot of people who are trying to make it in the industry of short films and they're funding their first films go for the horror film straight away?
Do you know what I think when it comes to short film funding and horror films and why it works so well? Horror films doesn't require a lot of budget in order to convey what they want to get to. Am I wrong? It depends on the scale of horror you're going for.
Are you wrong? That's a good question. I would say maybe a drama with two people in a room.
No,
but that's different.
But that's relying on performances, isn't it?
That is.
Yeah,
and then which is free, like in terms of
but high level performance, dramatic performance.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't come as cheap as what he was saying with the camcorder.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a coincidence. You see, you said there's some director. He directed some superhero film. Was it Shazam?
It was. David F. Samba.
Lights Out.
He literally made his a short horror film,
and it got turned into a feature. It got picked up.
That's what I'm saying.
Then
Sam
he did
Raimi,
Annabelle.
He came from horror films, making low
Evil
budget
Dead,
horror films. So maybe that's what you're saying relates to the camcorder, and it doesn't take.
I think people gravitate towards that. It's been done so many times. It's an easy door to step through, horror.
Yeah.
Rather than doing something a bit more dramatic, because and comedy and stuff like that, it's hard to get that sort of nuance and emotion out. Whereas horror, it's a lot more black and white. Obviously, you can get more psychological horror with Get Out and Parasite when it gets deeper. But majority of these student film or these low budget horror films, they haven't got that aspect. It's kind of it's just a scary film. Little bit of horror element.
Even The Conjuring was fairly low budget as well. I'm not sure.
Was that Blair Witch Project?
Yeah.
60k budget or something.
Something great. And Paranormal Activity did craziness as well.
So what other genres do you reckon are hard? Cinematography wise?
What was the question?
Hard to achieve.
Hard to achieve cinematography genre.
I think comedy is hard.
Comedy
to get
is
that
a
comedy
tough one.
time in.
Comedy's hard, but it lays a lot to performance. But again, Edgar Wright does it very well, where his cinematography actually adds to the funniness of it.
Yeah,
So
I
it depends how you use the camera.
He's very
physical comedy.
I'm saying he's not a lot of people do it like that.
Yeah, he's
definitely.
he's unique. But saying that, Edgar Wright got a lot of his inspiration from Sam Raimi, from that aspect. So yeah, it goes in circles.
I think another like tough genre, and I'll just very quickly brush on this. Romance. I think romance is not a genre we've been seeing a lot more. Like recently, it's not been a genre that we kind of see in cinemas too much.
I'm watching this weekend the new Blake Lively movie.
Oh, I don't know.
It Ends With Us or something like
Ends
that.
With Us,
I've
yeah.
been
I
roped
ain't seen the
into it.
trailer.
She's riding off the coattails of Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
He's a success. He's been involved in a lot of the PR.
When I saw the
Bus
poster for
trailer.
that on the side of a bus, I was like, you know what? This is.
You're gonna go watch it?
No, timing wise, it makes so much sense to see this thing right there. Blake Lively's face, plastered on the bus, right after Ryan Reynolds.
Dude, I saw some video where Ryan Reynolds
he goes into the interview.
Yeah.
I saw that as well.
And that was on his own YouTube channel. But he runs a production company
He
himself.
runs multiple production companies.
They were both involved in a production.
But he's got one main production company that he works out of, and they're doing a lot.
But he's gonna direct the next Deadpool movie.
I can see it. I can see it.
He's like him and like The Rock are in that category where like they don't even have to audition anymore.
Yeah, beyond that.
They're sculpting the films they want to make.
Yeah.
They're not even.
And I think that's where I'm excited to see this A24 Dwayne The Rock film, because I know we spoke about it before.
He's taking a step back, sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like he was always the man pulling the strings, pulling the shots, and I know there was a lot of bad press going on with him as well. So let's see what The Rock does.
Are we here for a redemption arc?
I'm here for it, man.
My
I'm always here
He's
for
not
it.
gonna save him, but
I'm saying his track
A24
record.
film might do.
I think he got a bit too involved. Like the same character again, down to the point where he's playing the same character in every single film.
Yeah, but
It's
then
like-
you could argue that Ryan Reynolds did that for quite a while as well.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people. Ryan Reynolds haters will just say that he relies on the same few jokes and the same shtick, and the same joke about him flopping with Green Lantern. I like Ryan Reynolds.
I haven't
really
seen
like
his
Ryan Reynolds.
filmography like that, to be honest.
He was on the rise, and then
He fell off.
Green Lantern happened, and it all went wrong until Deadpool. That's like the narrative.
Yeah.
You
I know
what?
that much about him.
One question I have about Ryan Reynolds, obviously we might not have the answer. How he seems on interviews and is that just a persona that he's putting on, or is that truly what he's like?
I can't answer that. I can't
think-
go
I
behind the
think-
scenes. It's a bit of both, man.
What we're seeing with the press junkets he does and everything, it's very, very similar to the roles he plays in films. Like you see the similarities in character.
I think he probably is like that to an extent.
To an extent, but again, like what we're saying,
Do you think he
it's
just
dialed.
dials it?
It's
Yeah.
dialed.
Yeah.
He's there promoting a film. Hugh Jackman can do it. They've been doing this for years.
Yeah.
They're not new to the game. They know how to sell a
He
movie.
plays into it, doesn't it?
Yeah,
he plays
definitely.
into that.
Like
Right.
it works for him.
But yeah, I think this has been a fun episode of Through the Motions and Emotions. Thank you very much for watching. Be sure to follow us on TikTok at TT Motions Talk. What's our comment for today? If you got to this point in the video, drop us a comment of
Homelander.
Thank you very much. Homelander.
With hyphens in between.
Yeah, because if you just put Homelander, we won't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and we shall see you in the next one. Take care and goodbye.